AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Shannon Sharp takes a shot at JJ Redick. Let's get into that. JJ Redick he might get the Lakers job now, right? This is after Shams reported, a bunch of people reported. I seen Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo talking about it. Stephen A. Smith. I think Woj was the only one that held back on it. But Dan Hurley, the Yukon head coach, who's won back-to-back titles over there, he turned down the Lakers job today. If I'm not mistaken, it was for around $11.5 million a year. And I think people would ask why. I don't want to make him sound like, I definitely want to make this guy sound like Dan Hurley, like he's, holier than thou. But there's got to be something to negotiating and being smart about it. I'm with Yukon, won back-to-back titles. I can renegotiate a contract now rather than later. I don't know how long this ride's going to last, right? Especially when Joe Pomp, this guy, I suggest you guys follow him. If you like what I'm saying, I appreciate you for listening and just understanding me. You try to find your way in this world, and you have thoughts, you have feelings that you want to express. And when people understand what you're saying, it ain't nothing like it, right? It ain't nothing like it where everybody knows your name on Cheers and just people understand you. So if you like how I speak and how I'm trying to investigate different topics, you're gonna like this guy, Joe Pomp. I love this dude. He has a podcast. I will listen to it. A lot of it is business on a business side, but this was a real good breakdown of the real reason Dan Hurley leaked info to Woj. So the real reason why the Yukon head coach Dan Hurley leaked the information to Woj about even being considered for the Laker job.
Agent Wojnarowski is reporting that Dan Hurley has turned down a $70 million offer from the LA Lakers. But this was never going to happen, and I think it was intentionally leaked. So let me explain how something like this comes out and who really stands to benefit. So one of the key pieces of this entire story is this book right here. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but just trust me. This book is called The Miracle of St. Anthony's. It's about St. Anthony High School and specifically the work that Coach Bob Hurley did with the school. Now, Bob Hurley is obviously the dad of Dan Hurley, but look who wrote the book. Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj has a great relationship with the Hurley family and specifically Dan Hurley. And when you combine that relationship with the fact that Dan Hurley was literally in the middle of contract negotiations with Yukon, it's fairly obvious what happened here. So Dan Hurley leaks the news that he's meeting with the Lakers through a trusted media source like Woj. They then talk about how it's going to be this massive offer and so difficult for Hurley to turn down. But then Hurley uses that $70 million offer as leverage with Yukon to get an even bigger extension than he would have gotten. And everyone wins to some degree. I mean, Woj, she gets a huge scoop and they talk about it all day on ESPN. Even the Lakers, Rob Pelinka gets to say he tried and he gives himself cover if his eventual hire ends up underperforming. And Hurley, of course, gets a huge raise. That's a win-win-win. And it's 40 chess from Dan Hurley.
Man, so there you have that. There you have that. This is the real business to everything. Bill Simmons also spoke to it today where he felt like this was a win-win-win for everyone as well. The Lakers get to snag headlines during the finals, the NBA finals, when we're talking about the Celtics and Luka Doncic versus Luka Doncic, who's the real face of the NBA. That conversation has disappeared, by the way. Ain't nobody talking about Luka being the face of the league or Tatum at this point. We thought one of them would be. And what bigger commercial for the NBA than what it's supposed to be their biggest show, their biggest episodes, right, of the season. It's supposed to be now. And you saw it with LeBron partially announcing his retirement last playoffs, and Mike Malone got mad at him. So Mike Malone gets angry with him, and the notion that you would even hint at retiring right after we swept you. But when else would LeBron be able to promote that retirement and it be bigger than that right after a loss? And it could just be like accidental promotion by LeBron. He might be like an accidental genius promoter marketer. Like he's just doing what he feels. You know what I mean? And it ties into the Lakers thing because the Lakers is Hollywood. It's all reality TV. And that piece is so interesting because I had no idea Dan Hurley's father, Bob Hurley, who is a legend. Remember, his son, Bobby Hurley Jr., was highly sought after in college. Shout out to Kenny A for crossing him up. I'll show those highlights in a second if you want. Kenny Anderson from Queens crossed up Bobby Hurley, a big touted recruit. In the 90s, Bobby Hurley got into a car accident. For those that don't know, a lot of people here are my age or older, and they know about Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley Jr. went to Duke, got into a car accident, was a promising point guard. He was part of like the Duke curse, actually. There was like a Duke curse. Anybody that went to Duke never panned out in the league. It's the last 10, 15 years where we see Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving and these guys coming to the league and have something to say. St. Anthony High School class of 98. Oh, you went to St. Anthony's? Wow. Shout out to you, Mr. McCormick. You always showing us love and everything. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. But this 60 seconds from Joe Pomp talking about how the tie between Adrian Wojnarowski and Bob Hurley creating a book. That's amazing. Danny Hurley was your gym coach. That's crazy. That's crazy. And we're talking about it now. So you're invested in this all the way, Mr. McCormick. Woj tied into Danny Hurley. That's family business. That's family business. And it's a dirty game. They're showing you how the sausage is made. I'm 41. I ain't saying, but they're showing you how the sausage is made. It's ugly. The Lakers are showing you how the sausage is made in real time. Hey, we don't care if it's the NBA Finals. We're going to announce 2 or 3 different high-profile head coaching candidates, and one of them happens to be one of the biggest stars in NBA media right now, who's covering the NBA Finals. Everything about this is perfect timing. Jeannie Buss, again, speaking of family business, Jeannie Buss was raised in the Lakers organization. She knows what these things do. She knows how tabloids work. The Lakers work as a tabloid fodder. LeBron works with tabloid fodder. He's on social media all day long. He doesn't hold himself with a mystique like a Rihanna and Beyonce, the Jay-Z's of the world. He's always kind of too talkative. He's kind of clumsy, right? But it works in this era because people just want to react to everything. So it all makes sense. Now, I don't know if JJ Redick takes this job. Because if you're JJ Redick and you saw how much Dan Hurley's making, you know how much you're making with your channel. You know how much you're making with your media business. And I saw Russillo and Bill Simmons, they both were in agreement. They made great points as well. I love that Russillo told Bill Simmons, hey, yo, what's stopping JJ Redick from being the new you? Right? Unless unless you're JJ Redick, LeBron is your boy, LeBron is showing you, hey, Draymond's doing it, Paul George is doing it. Why don't you be the first head coach that has a podcast? There's no other current head coach that's doing it. Could you imagine the mind of the game? What's it called? 3 old man and the 3 podcast, the channel, the JJ Redick brand. Could you imagine that with the Lakers symbol in the background? There's just as look, the Golden State Warriors are a more valuable franchise right now. The Knicks, I think, are more valuable than the Lakers right now. But the Lakers have always fluttered and floundered as the most valuable, and definitely have always been the most popular. Magic Johnson put them on another level. What Jerry Buss built over there is totally overlooked now. He's probably a better owner than all the rest of the owners. And what he did, right? He won how many championships? 8 in 20 years, 25 years. And just that media company, they're more like a media company and just like a Hollywood agency of the NBA than anything else, right? That's why they can. What do they do when they announce, "Hey, we are interested in JJ Redick"? What's the first thing that they did? We think he's the new Pat Riley. Pat Riley was a former Laker. He was a color commentator as well. I know he commentated, and from there he became an assistant coach. But Pat Riley was Wolf of Wall Street. He looks like a movie star. The not Wolf of Wall Street. I'm sorry. What's the Greed is Good? Wasn't that called Wall Street back in the day with Michael Douglas? Michael Douglas' character on Wall Street is based on Pat Riley. Pat Riley looked like a movie star on the Lakers sidelines. He looked like a movie star on the Knicks sidelines. So Magic Johnson, the Forum. Hit that like button. Thank you, Keith White. Magic Johnson, the Forum. Everything about it. And then Shaq and Kobe. There's a reason why Dr. Jerry Buss was pushing for. They knew what they were doing with the Shaq and Kobe thing. They've seen fights before. They knew when they exhausted it as well. Like, Kobe wants nothing to do with you, man. He's the young gun. You got to get out of here, Shaq. But they loved being in the media. They love being promoted that way. They know the dirty business to everything. There's a book with Michael Jackson that was really great about how Michael Jackson started his own rumors about himself, and why a lot of these things it can kind of unravel and unfold and out of your control. So not to say, all the allegations with Michael Jackson, I don't know. Like there's too much there. There's some smoke there, right? He had a Neverland Ranch, like Cat Williams said. I buy potpourri and Alizé because I like women. If you were, what were you doing with an amusement park in your backyard, like, right? So he put a lot of that on himself, but a lot of this stuff sells. Is done for marketing, and the cheapest version of marketing is the word of mouth. How do I get you to talk about me? This is why Kendrick Perkins is on ESPN complaining about LeBron James not texting him at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, by the way. 9 in the morning. He said, LeBron, you got to wake up and see my face. You think LeBron is up at 6 in the morning watching you? He'll see it when he sees it. He'll see it if somebody sends it to him. Like the ego. So it's not all ego, it's all performative. And that's probably our biggest thing, like just as people, before I keep ranting, is everything is performative. Even if you're talking to your friend, like a lot of times I knew my friends who were watching First Take, and like it just sounded awful. Like they sounded like they were trying to argue with Skip Bayless or whoever. I'm just like, I'm not even saying that. Like, you're not even listening to what I'm telling you. You're arguing with somebody on TV, and I really don't care to have that conversation, because you're now getting ready to be in a part of a performance. Like, remember, it feeds into our ego. If you were 12, 10 years old, whoever wanted to be a celebrity, and you never became one, or you think you still are one, these things feed into that. And we have every application accessible to actually try to perform this. Like, I'm on YouTube right now, but I'm just giving my thoughts. I think I'm completing the execution of the expression of expressing myself, right? These feelings that I have. And that's why I'm always glad that you guys just show up and reply back. I know there's real humans out there listening, right? But Kendrick Perkins, he's already realized that. He had a whatever kind of celebrity he had from the NBA. Now he's in on NBA media, and he's doing that with it. He doesn't have the goals and aspirations of a JJ Redick, who, man, if For the Lakers to even think of calling JJ Redick the next Pat Riley, I fully was with it. Like now I'm like, you know what? I want to see this show. This show, I want to see it. It's either going to be a show, or it's going to be greatness. There's no in between because it's polarizing. JJ Redick is a polarizing guy. You got all these guys calling him smug. Perkins, even Dan Lebatard used to work at ESPN, was like, yo, JJ Redick's up there on ESPN trying to prove himself to be the smart guy in the room and stand in the third, but he's still smug, right? But he makes you feel something. He's a TV star. I've been telling AllBall that for a minute. TV star. But does he take this Lakers job, man? I painted it the best way I could. I think I know he lives in New York. And I know where, I don't want to say it like he should be worried about me, but I know where he goes with his kids and everything. He posted on Instagram. I've been there before. If you don't know, then you don't know. But it's like, I think he loves New York too. He does have a family, and he looks like he's very competitive about them as well. But he tried. Remember, he interviewed for the Toronto job. He interviewed for the Hornets job before Charles Lee got the job. Charles Lee, the assistant coach for the Celtics, and now he's interviewing for the Lakers job. And you feel like you're a second tier guy, but I don't think he gets a better performance or a better marketing for his own company, even if he fails. Right? Is he thinking about that? There's no way he's thinking about. Or let's say he is. You have the thoughts. I'm JJ Redick. I have this big smart aleck media company. It's based on and analytics and everything. It's not just thinking basketball. It's not just Bill Simmons. I get to be a part of the game as well, right? Like he's like all those other guys, Basketball Breakdown, all these coaches that you can find on YouTube. JJ Redick is that, but he has the ego with the smug, personality, and he has access to the game still. None of them have that. Like I love Ryan Russillo, is my favorite sports analyst, basketball, everything. He breaks down the game and he's honest. He ran circles around JJ Redick when he was on his podcast a week ago. That's my opinion. Ran circles around him because JJ Redick is trying to tiptoe around things and be political. Ryan Russillo's not political. But Ryan Russillo does not have access to a job interview with the Lakers. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.